What's up, Collective fans? It's Lore today, and today we're going to review Halo Wars 2. Halo Wars 2 is a game that takes all the mechanics from its predecessor from 2009 and refines them to create a simple, easy-to-learn, real-time strategy that's accessible to both regulars and newcomers to the RTS genre. Despite some issues I have with the narrative, the campaign is an absolute blast to play, adding fun single-player content on top of quality multiplayer opportunities, creating a well-crafted game with deep, yet simple mechanics and a wealth of content for the player to enjoy. When it comes to the campaign, the story is a tale of the continued adventures of Captain Cutter, the Spirit of Fire, and her crew. 30 years after the events of Halo Wars, Cutter and company wake up from cryosleep to find themselves in orbit above the Ark. From there, they go down to the surface and find a deserted UNSC research facility, and that's when they encounter the Banished. From there, the story is relatively straightforward. The UNSC fight for their survival on the surface of the Ark. While the story and character development of the UNSC side of things was well developed in quality, there was very little attention given to the Banished, and perhaps more disappointingly, Atriox as an antagonist. People expecting a narrative with lots of Atriox screen time will be let down. However, when you take into account that future DLC campaign content is on the way in the future, it is very possible that we will see things from the Banished perspective later this year, making this campaign at launch the first act of the narrative as a whole. It's also worth noting that, while amazingly done, there is a noticeable lack of cutscenes in-game. In my opinion, too many of the cinematic mission intros and outros were done via in-game engine, and should have been done in cutscenes by Blur Studios. Gameplay-wise, the missions are a blast. You will need to learn to effectively split your armies into effective groups to counter what the Banished throws at you to survive, ultimately making the campaign experience more of a tactical challenge compared to Halo Wars 1, which is good for players looking for a challenging yet fun experience. If you're new to RTS games, fear not. An easily accessible basic and advanced tutorial is available to learn the game prior to playing the campaign or multiplayer. One rather disappointing thing I must add is that the soundtrack is overall an average one. While some tracks are great, the menu theme especially, overall the music adds very little to the campaign experience, and oftentimes I didn't even notice the music in-game due to how uninteresting and unfitting it is. However, on a positive note, the game's sound design itself is fantastic. Explosions have a beautiful thwump sound effect. Plasma makes vicious burning sounds, and bullets have a satisfying rat-a-tat-tat sound as they riddle enemy units. And it doesn't stop there. The sounds of vehicle engines and natural animal sounds in the Ark all help bring the game to life. Visually, this game is gorgeous as well, both in-game and the cutscenes. Fans of the older classic Halo art style will love the game for returning Halo to its roots, but fans of the new will be happy as well with the elements taken from Halo 4 and 5's art that complement Halo's classic look. Color is used very well, and the natural environments of the Ark look and seem like a real, lush world. The game's mechanics themselves are incredibly refined. Unit pathfinding and resource collection are smooth, and several information relays in the UI tell you important information on everything you need to know as a commander of the UNSC or the Mighty Banished. While the core of the rock-paper-scissors mechanic is very basic and simple, a plethora of different counter units open up the potential of the game and bring more opportunities to create a diverse army. Mechanics such as height advantage increasing unit sight lines and range, and the ability to spot for artillery with ground units further add to the game's depth. And you will soon learn that there are many different viable and possible strategies within Halo Wars 2. In terms of multiplayer modes, the game offers 3. Strongholds, where players have to fight over controlling more bases, Domination, in which players fight to control King of the Hill as objectives, and Deathmatch, which is the classic standard destroy your enemy bases to win mode from Halo Wars 1. Team and solo versions of these modes exist as well, bringing further diversity into the mix. If you're not ready to try your hand at multiplayer, a versus AI mode is available to hone your skills. Lastly, Halo Wars 2 leader selection feels well implemented into the game. While each faction leader can make the same units, for instance, Letfalier and Atriox can both make elite rangers, a difference of hero units and special unique leader abilities make each leader fit a type of playstyle. Fans of stealth and surprise attacks will find home with Letfalier's teleporting abilities. while those who prefer to go unit upgrades quickly will enjoy Professor Anders' scientific boost on the battlefield. At the end of the day, Halo Wars 2's high-quality gameplay mechanics and in-depth strategy opportunities will satisfy seasoned RTS fans and newcomers alike. With its easy-to-access and learn mechanics, Halo Wars 2 will offer a simple but deep way to play the game in the Halo universe. While the weak soundtrack and lacking narrative hurt the game overall, the promise of future story content and a fantastic multiplayer with free maps on the way help make this game one that fans will enjoy for years to come.